The 20th Lancaster Archery Classic here from the Spooky Nick Sports Complex, and that's a look inside the Lancaster Archery trailer. Hi everyone, I'm Greg White, sitting alongside Rio Wild, multi-time world champion, 14-time gold medalist in world archery. The list goes on and on and on. And Rio, we've been here for a couple of days. It's been an outstanding tournament. The weather's been decent, but we don't even know because we're inside shooting archery, and there's been a couple thousand people that have arrived here to compete, and we're down to the finals.
And it's been some awesome finals already today. It just is getting more and more exciting as we build up for the other matches and the other divisions, and this is one of my favorite tournaments to go to. I've never missed a Lancaster in the 20 years.
Let's take a look at this schedule. We've already had Senior Open and Women's Open done and dusted. Now we're at Masters Open. That's compound categories. Before we're going to get into Women's Masters Open, then we're going to do some youth categories. But let's look at the shoot-up rules because we are in a shoot-up format for this particular match. There's 4 people that qualified, Rio.
Yeah, and the way you started out is 3 and 4 will face each other first, and the winner advancing to face the number 2 seed, and that match will face the number 1 seed, which has its advantageous funds because number 1 gets to sit there and be anxious and not, but ends up with not being as warm as the guy who they're coming in to face. So it just is a really cool format.
All right, so let's get to the floor where we're going to introduce our archers to the field of play.
We are back for our next division. Our next class is Masters Open. Coming in as our 4th seed is Steve Luchaco from Sayre, Pennsylvania. He's been shooting for 35 years, and he says that this is his biggest accomplishment to this point. Our 3rd seed is Kelly Weathersbee from Altoona, Pennsylvania. He's been shooting for 10 years, and he also says this is his biggest accomplishment to this point.
For Weathersbee out of Altoona, PA, shooting a Bowtech, and of course making the shoot-off. I mean, it's good enough just to make the elimination rounds, let alone make this shoot-up. It's a 4-person shoot-up.
And I think that's one of the cool parts of this shoot. So many categories get to come up on this stage. You go to a big event like Vegas or even a World Cup Finals or whatever, they don't get this experience anywhere but here.
All right, so archers are making the decision on how they're going to shoot as we get ready for our 4 ends of competition.
And we'll see how they start off. How does the pressure handle? How's their impact from inside the practice range to here?
So it's going to be 9. Weathersbee who kicks us off.
The low 9.
And this is Luchaco. Steve Luchaco.
11.
Oh, good start. Good start. Let's see if Kelly can get this back, if he can step it up and make up for his first mistake.
10.
He's working his way back in there. I haven't seen him reach for his sight, so it must mean that he's hitting where he's aiming. Mm-hmm. Like I said, a lot of that's nerves coming out here.
So Luchaco just drops it a little low.
And you can hear his supporters in the background.
Yeah. It helps that you're from Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
10.
Oh, we could have a tie score right here, depending on that arrow call, that first move.
Great shooting,
Kelly's.
ladies and gentlemen. Kelly, tell us a little bit about the equipment you're shooting today.
Bowtech Reckoning Gen 2.
carbon achieve, shrewd scope, 6 power lens, beeline bowstrings, which I make myself, dead center stabilizers.
Very nice. You're shooting it well. I like doing your own strings. That's how I like to do mine. It's great. You're shooting it well.
A little above my pay grade.
Yeah.
I don't know how to really make those strings, but strings and cables for the compound bow.
It's a definite talent.
Yeah.
It's something that some guys have, and I'll be honest, I don't have the time.
Yeah. And I don't have the brain power. All right, so Steve Luchaco leads by 1 point over Weathersbee, who is definitely got the cheering section. Is the crowd favorite at the moment. Yeah.
Took him a little while to start off, but
He might make bowstrings for a lot of other people.
it could do.
All right, so Luchaco didn't really like that draw. He's got 20 seconds remaining on the clock.
Which is still plenty of time.
Yes.
But he seems to have a fairly fast shot anyway.
10-9 liner.
But I believe that may have affected his shot. It gets in your head sometimes when you have things like that. So you have to like really be able to have a focus on it.
Additionally, if you're not used to looking downrange at a clock or at a screen, which we have here at the Lancaster Archery Classic, you might not be using that resource.
Yeah. I mean, one of the things when I first did a big stage like this was the big screen video that like of yourself, and as you draw back and see yourself move and do that, it can be a real intimidation thing that you don't even think about or notice until you get out here.
Now, and you can see right there, right part of your screen, it's just above the archer's line of view. And when you're drawing back, it definitely draws your attention at first, as I was practicing in here before, because you notice the movement as the crowd goes crazy again every time that Kelly Weathersbee clobbers an 11.
And he had a little better end with a 11-10, 11.
So Luchaco with a good answer, and the crowd goes for him too. I love it.
Yeah.
Nice. Get some of those, I don't even know what to call them, clapping balloons.
On your info card here that this is your biggest accomplishment to this point. How does it feel being up there?
A little nerve-wracking.
Yeah, it sure is. What are you shooting here today?
Matthews TRX 40 with diamond bars, swap hog rest, UV3 scope with a 365 lens, and Excel sight.
Very nice, very nice. So after 2 ends, we're waiting on scores to get totaled up here, but we are looking like...
All right, looking at the recap. This is Steve Luchaco.
61 for Steve Luchaco.
So 62 to 61, Rio is Weathersbee. Leads by 1 point. We're going into our third end of four in this shoot-up.
Yep.
The winner of this match guaranteed a podium finish and the opportunity to continue shooting up towards the title of champion.
They both have had different starts. I mean, Steve started off with a little bit of an 11, then went 10-10. Kelly started off with a 9-10. So it's kind of one of the things. It's like, who's going to finish this match out strong? That'll be who takes it.
Now this is Masters Open, and you can see that when Luchaco drew back, the arrow kind of fell off the rest, and he just used his pointer finger to get that thing right back up there. Sometimes for shooters, depending on how they draw back and how the bow is actually set up, it's kind of a rhythmic thing for them.
Yeah, and how you come back. Mine happens occasionally. It's not a real big deal. I've done it enough. But Kelly's really seemed to settle into here. After that start that was a little rough, he's picked it up and really, and with the crowd support probably helping out.
10.
Which probably doesn't help Steve. Makes it tough. And you talk about some great athletes like that you learn to deal with that, and where this is as big as achievement, it's a big, tall task to deal with a crowd that's in favor of your competitor. When I remember Derek Jeter always talking about he loved to go to play in Boston because he'd get to shut up the crowd. And
All right. We're not going to talk about that anymore. Go Sox. You could see a really good look at how that scope was lit and the bubble.
Let's give these guys a hand.
1 in to go as we wait the scores. Could be a 3-point advantage for Weathersbee.
That's a really good look.
You said you make your own strings. You also sell strings? Yeah. Very nice. You want to give a little plug for your shop?
Sure. Beeline Bowstrings on Facebook. Give me a shout.
All right, go check him out. Steve, where do you shoot at back home?
Waverly Sportsman's Club.
Very nice, very nice. And that is in what town?
That's in Waverly, New York.
Very nice. All right, after 3 ends, we have 94 to 91. It's crunch time. Don't forget about that 12.
So here we go. Final end of competition for this match to decide who is going to be guaranteed a podium spot. Who's got to be in 4th place? Weathersbee leads 3 points to Luchaco.
And I think you're talking about the 12 being able to be had at any time. I'm seeing these matches that are like 3 points right now. How much would it change it if he pulls up right here and shot a 12?
I agree with you.
Like,
you don't have to do it on that last arrow, right? Yeah.
Like, throw it down there and go, look at what I did. And I think that that's part of this game that may evolve and people will learn it. But I think that that's something that's missed right now.
11-10 line.
Because I would say if he walked out of the gate, shot a 12, it definitely put extra pressure on him. And like,
wow, that is a strong human being. He literally was at like half draw, tried to get the arrow on the rest, goes back a little more, probably to peak weight,
10-9 line.
and then put it back on again.
yeah, but I think part of that his setup doesn't end up as good because he's trying to do all that. And it makes for a little more of a harder to execute a really good shot.
Yeah.
11.
Yeah.
And, I mean,
There he
it
goes.
makes it tough. But he's handled it very well. I mean, there's a lot of guys.
9.
I've seen guys at World Championships not get arrows off because of that.
Yes. Yeah.
And so he dealt with it, and he did really well. You know, he may not have won the match, but he's definitely given it a really good effort, not quit.
$11-10 line.
He didn't look so happy with it, but that'll do the job.
We wait for the official score, but with the crowd behind him, it looks like Weathersbee's going to advance.
Starting to feel a little better now that you've been up there, or is it just getting worse? Steve, how are you feeling now? You said you were nervous earlier.
I'm relieved now.
Unofficially, it looks like we have Kelly taking the match and Steve going home with 4th. That will be a $500 payout for Steve. Congratulations to him.
All right, so Weathersbee will advance to shoot against the 2nd place qualifier. Luchaco, relieved after this match, is going to walk away in 4th place. Great accomplishment here in the Masters Open division.
But a great experience.
Yep.
I mean, like him saying this is one of his biggest things,
From Flushing,
but
New
it
York.
gives him a huge experience.
Our
He
next
is the
toss.
New York State Outdoor Champ and the Empire State Senior 2023 Champ. He comes in here qualifying 22nd and shooting his way up to the final stage today.
I mean, Rio, what can you say? You come in here as the 22nd qualifier, and now you're the 2nd place seed. Bryan McNeely getting after it. Must have had just an outstanding elimination round.
That's one of the cool parts of this sport. With the eliminations, you can have the bottom qualifier beat the top, and they roll right through, and it just is a really cool part of it. Sucks sometimes to be the #1 guy to get knocked off, but that's the way the world and the ball bounces.
Yeah, we saw it quite a few times in elimination rounds this morning.
Yep.
All right, so we're getting ready for this match. McNeely starts us off.
Nine.
Little high left for 9.
But he's moving his sight, so he must have been fairly confident where he was on that shot. To say, well, I just hit. I didn't hit where I wanted it to. But Kelly's gonna start off right where he left off. And another one. Bryan didn't move his spot. Bryan kept Kelly where he was. So
Certainly did.
11.
Yeah. That little sight movement too. A couple of clicks, got him right in there.
again, like we just keep talking about, it's that first arrow. That is an open door for the person that's already out here to gain an advantage on the match. Because if they're not on where they're supposed to be, it can be a huge advantage. I think that one's just out.
Yeah, look just out from this perspective.
11.
Yep. Good strong bow arm from McNeely. He's holding well here in this Masters Open category. You have to be over 50 years old, 50 years old or older to compete in the Masters category. Incredible the precision. All right, let's get to Connor Koffelt.
Good to see you up here. What are you shooting today?
Bow type reckoning 2 with the Epsilon Hamsky rest. Achieve XP sight with a bow finger scope and 365 focus lens.
Very nice. What arrows you got back there?
The Ultra Centrics.
Very nice. Shooting well coming out of the gate. Let's see what scores we've got here. We've got Kelly Weathersbee with a 32, Bryan McNeely 31.
All right, so quick look at the 32 from Kelly Weathersbee. And that arrow just a bit outside. Not that one.
No, that one.
That's inside out.
You can't put that much better.
Back to live shots.
11.
Another one just about the
Oh,
same
boy.
spot.
Feels so good when that happens.
Oh, yeah.
Confidence is high.
11.
What a bow arm from McNeely.
So solid and just static. Just held the bow and let it do its thing.
Nine, 10, 9.
Not happy with that.
Yeah.
But there's an opening there. He was ahead by 1. And
9.
see, and there it is. When an archer makes that shot, it changes. And I think that's why that 12 sometimes might be more of a thing to shoot it early and add that pressure.
11.
That's why you bounce back.
Yeah.
Good shot.
Yeah, both of them. Coming back after a 9 was a huge
Great shooting
accomplishment.
again this end. Brian, how are you feeling up there?
Nervous. First time up here, so.
Well, it seems to be a common answer. Wonder what we'll see throughout the day here, whether people are feeling it. You feeling any better now, Kelly?
No.
Well, you're shooting great. It's really, really good shooting so far. We're waiting on scores again here. And we have Kelly Weathersbee with a 63 and Bryan
You know, it's
McNeely
interesting.
62.
For Bryan McNeely, you send out just a little bit of information and what motivates you to keep you in the sport. His perspective is just always trying to get better. I think that's something that's just kind of throughout a person's life who has that kind of desire to just continue to get better. And the good thing about archery is it's up and down. So literally you can be at the top of your game one day and the bottom the next, and that allows you to keep getting better all the time.
It's like playing golf. Sometimes you hit that one really good shot and you're like, man, I'm coming back tomorrow because of that.
11.
Yep. with shot 11. Didn't look like he thought it was going to be in there, but you saw a moment, something that's also unique to this tournament that people don't have access to at their own homes, at least a lot of people don't, is they actually have an isolated shot of their target and a screen right by their feet. So they can actually, that's why normally you're going to see people use binoculars in these situations, but they don't need to because it's right at their feet. Oh, looks like he
come
just
out of
got-
his a little bit.
But he realizes there's a shot clock.
11.
Wow.
Good comeback.
Very
Really
good comeback.
way to settle it down and just really get after it.
It's a 10-11 liner, so we'll wait for that one to be called.
But back to your monitors. That's something that is different. So like me, who I'm going to go out there tomorrow, I'll wear my binoculars just as Kelly is, because when you practice and shoot with them so much, they feel part of you. And you want this to feel as normal as possible because it's anything but.
Yeah, it's kind of like leaving your house without your phone. You're like, I know there's something missing.
10 line.
But 10 liner, a little bit out to the right, right? But I know
Yeah.
something
Yeah.
missing, but what is it? What is it? And then you can reach your phone, you're like, yeesh.
Yeah.
So yeah, I agree with you. Like, if I ever made it up on this stage, I'd do exactly what I always do.
9.
Yep.
Ooh. All right, so getting a little right.
Let's give these guys a hand. That's some great shooting.
So we have one end left of competition as we wait for the official score. Judges are going to have to go down there and take a look at an arrow or two.
I realize I don't have to reach very far to get to you and then to him because you're left-handed. Did you choose this stage because you get to look him in the eyes as he's shooting, or am I thinking too much into it?
I'd rather look at him than look into the whole crowd.
Very true, very true. Are you intimidated at all by him looking into your eyes while you're at full draw, or do you not notice it?
I haven't noticed it.
Yeah, now you'll be thinking about it. All right, after 3 ends, we have Mr. Weathersbee, 93, Mr. McNeely, 95.
Yeah, so
Remember
that's
that
one of the
12's
things
up
we were
there,
talking
guys.
about earlier is
Yeah.
how do you choose?
Yep.
You know, if you're a left-handed shooter, do you want to look in? And he's saying, look, I don't want to look into the crowd. Okay, I get it, because if he was on the other side of the stage, he'd be looking at the crowd. He'd be looking at, you know, a big post. I mean, why not? Just keep your head in the game,
Yeah, and who knows what kind of funny faces out in the crowd they could be making, and it really distract you.
especially
It's
with the crowd behind Weathersbee, right?
Yeah, they're right there.
Could be some hecklers in the
Yeah.
audience.
11.
And this is just a couple of points with his last hand. So that 12 may come into play.
11.
He is wearing
This
out
is-
the middle of that
and this
top
is where-
target.
This is where almost I would say it would be really good for Weatherby to take a shot at it early rather than like,
9-8 line.
ooh, well, maybe not. Because that could be enough to change the match right there, and you wouldn't have to use
He
the 12.
didn't call the 12, folks. So that
No.
wasn't, he didn't step on the button and call the 12.
11.
Yeah. And he didn't call the 12.
No, but even if he gets both those in a higher value, it could be a tied match. This could be an 11 to win. Oh, now he's getting a little bit of the nerves.
The key here is not to rush the shot. You got
Yep.
plenty of time. You got 15 on the clock.
Stay with your normal execution.
Nine, 10 liner.
Oh, now we got some
That's
arrow
a tie.
calls.
Yep. Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what we're going through right now, too, which is we just don't know what's going to happen.
Were you feeling nervous on that last
That one looks pretty confidently a 9 to me.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Yeah.
There's too much yellow there.
Too much,
between the
way
two.
too much yellow.
That's a
This isn't 3D. We don't pull lines. This is indoor. This is spots or dots or paper or there's a lot of different ways to describe this type of shooting.
It looks like it's going to be close.
All right, so what'll happen is the judge is down at the targets. The judge is going to make the calls. They're going to write it down. They're actually going to communicate with our scoring table. The NCO group is doing the scoring here, and they're going to update those scores, and then the judge will give us
And
an
we have a
indication.
tie,
And so
124
after that, it's a tie.
Yeah,
So it's it's a shoot-off, our first shoot-off
of the day.
of the year.
Yeah.
For the 20th Lancaster Archery Classic here at the Spooky Nook Sports Complex in Manheim, Pennsylvania. And our shoot-up finals. let's listen to it. Let's listen to the rules.
We will shoot up to 3 arrows. We will shoot them one at a time. First arrow will be for score. If it's still a tie, we'll shoot a second arrow, which will also be for score. If it is still a tie, we will shoot a third arrow. That will be measured closest to the center to determine the winner. You had choice at the last end. You maintained choice. Would you like to shoot first or second?
First. Get it over with.
You'll be shooting first. Or you'll be shooting second. 12 is in play. Yep, it's an option if you want it.
If you didn't hear that, Frank didn't have the mic anymore. 12 is in play for those for score arrows.
Well, this is a tough one because with Bryan deciding to shoot first, if he shoots an 11, Kelly could pull the 12 card and win the match.
Yeah, it's a toughie.
11.
All right.
Oh, he's going to do it.
Yeah, he does it.
He's like, that's
All right,
on.
so Weathersbee has hit the button. He's calling for the 12. See it over his shoulder. Now he can shoot an 11 if he decides.
Just to
It's
the
just
right.
off. So now he loses the match.
And that's the match.
It was on me. That's the way I wanted to do it. So
Yeah, that's the way to do it. Have the match in your hands. But it looks like we have indication from the judges. Bryan will go home. Move on, and Kelly will go home at third place with a $1,000 payout and $500 from Bowtech. Congratulations, Kelly.
I like it. No guts, no glory.
Oh, 100%.
Got to go for it.
Pull the Ricky Bobby. If you ain't first, you're last.
That's right. Just pull the Ricky, especially in front of this crowd.
Yeah.
Because he knows, had he hit that 12, it would have been gnarly.
Oh.
Milkman Heisler from Springport, Michigan. He's been shooting for 40 years, and he got second in senior bow hunter at Louisville, and is shooting open today.
Well, it's Ray Milkman Heisler. And I'm not really sure why they call him Milkman. He's been shooting a long time. Rio, this archer found his dad's bear recurve bow at age 5 and started shooting it and just fell in love with the sport.
Nice.
Now here he is on the big stage, shooting for the title of champion in the Masters Open category of the 20th Lancaster Archery Classic here at the Spooky Sports Complex in Manheim, Pennsylvania. And Milkman is going first.
The interesting part about his setup is he's shooting a bow hunter type setup. He's got a short stabilizer. He's got, like, it's a lot different than what you've been seeing.
Yeah. Jumping up into this category. Looks like it's going to be a 10. Just caught that line.
Yeah.
11.
And when he came out, he did move Bryan over so he can stare at the crowd that he didn't want earlier.
Well, if I was listening to Bryan, I would have exactly done the same thing. Okay, you
100%.
just gave me your weakness. Thanks, bud.
Yep.
10-9 lining.
Yeah, you open the door for
Thanks for giving me your passcode. Bosco. Bosco.
10.
Guy's got such a good clean shot.
yeah.
There we go.
Again, that comes out to like being the guy coming out after the first one was out there. It just, you've got the advantage when you walk out. You're already out there when the other guy comes out.
10.
All right, so the first end of competition in the books, and let's get to Connor Crawford.
I'm going to need some sort of explanation for what I just said during your walk-up. What is with the Milkman nickname?
We're dairy farmers from Michigan, so farm boy.
Very nice. So, what are you shooting here today? I noticed you got a short stabilizer up here in the open class.
I'm a bow hunter, and I have to go home tomorrow, So I just jumped into the open class, and I'm shooting a G5 CT9, and with Excel SOT. With being a little farmer, I got a little JB weld on the dot to make it fat. So it's how we roll.
Very nice. What an accomplishment to make it up here with, a short bar, working, with JB Weld on the site, and to shoot his way up to the finals here at the Classic in the Masters Open Division. Congratulations, Red.
You've been around a lot longer than I have, but that's the first time I've heard JB Weld on the lens.
Oh, yeah, on the lens. Never heard it on the lens. I've heard it in a few other locations,
Yeah.
but never on the lens.
Wow. And I think his back bar is longer than his front bar, too. I like it. He's got to leave tomorrow, so obviously if he made it, he couldn't have shot in this class.
But he looks solid. He come out and he shot.
11.
Yep.
Took him a little bit to get in the middle, but he did.
He's getting there.
So, yep.
Tomorrow morning is going to be our bow hunter category, which he normally shoots in. That's our second match of the day for Sunday. But right now it's Masters Open.
10.
And it's, tell us, Rio, why it's called the Open category.
Because it's open to anybody. Anybody that fits those parameters of, like, you can shoot any part of equipment you want. You can have a scope, you can have stabilizers, certain lengths. The cool part we used to say is you can put a computer on there if you want to really think it's cool.
Yeah, right.
You can hold it up. And so it just means it's open for any of those products.
All right, a letdown, still plenty of time, 17 seconds. So McNeely decided he wasn't comfortable with that shot. Kind of let it down, not a full reset. Paid off though, only dropping a single point out of the total highest maximum value points available, which is 11 in this round per arrow.
10.
Wow. And I mean, shooting 11 here, it wasn't real hurtful. Like, 11 and give him a tie.
10.
Ooh, so 1 point.
1 point. 6162 unofficially. Let's get to Connor Koffel.
Bryan, now you're over on this stage here looking at the crowd. Do you have anyone in the crowd today or watching at home that you want to say hi to?
I've got my son out in the crowd, James, a bunch of friends out here, and a bunch of friends online waiting and watching.
That's great.
All right, here's a bit of a recap of what Milkman, his round looked like in that second end of our four ends for this final to decide who's the champion.
Well, and he started off with a nice 11.
Yeah.
And then opened it up a little more, but it's a challenge with not having the same equipment. I think that it's an advantage to have a long stabilizer, or people would use more short ones.
Couldn't agree more. All right, Milkman's getting after it first.
Little movement.
10.
It's Masters Open, Rio. Movement is our thing.
It is. I don't disagree. I definitely have plenty. Good songs.
11-10 line.
I think that's just a little far out for an 11. I think it's another 10.
Yeah, I think so too.
I think it's going to come down to who can put together a few 11s. They both are really solid on the 10s. It's going to be 11s that they're going to need to start to pick up.
Another little flinch there.
Yeah.
9.
Able to reel it back in, but you could see the flinch was low too.
Yeah.
Maybe a little fatigue.
Could be, because he's been up there a little bit. It's definitely, like, most people don't shoot a lot. So
11.
and like I said, nerves take a lot out of you. It takes a lot more energy to be up there.
10-9 line.
10-9 liner.
So Bryan, let's hear what club you shoot for back home.
I shoot with Nassau Bowman and shoot at Proline Archery out in Ozone Park in New York as well.
Very nice, very nice. And Ray, where do you shoot back home?
I got a range I built at home, the barn. It's my old tie stall barn. We converted to a 50-yard indoor range. So that, and then Capillary Sportsman in Lansing.
Very nice. Shooting 50 yards, do you shoot any other, like 3D, or mostly just take the target?
No, we're basically all been 3D. This has just been new for the last couple of years, and it's the IBO and the ASA, and it's a little different. It's I need a rangefinder sometimes.
Yeah, it's very different up here. You're doing great, though. After 3 ends here, we have Mr. McNeely with a 90 and Mr. Heisler 93.
All right, so 3 points, the difference heading into this final end of competition here in the Masters Open Division, the 2024 Lancaster Archery Classic. And this is for first and second place and all the marbles. And it's Ray Milkman Heisler kicking us off.
11.
Good start.
With a lead, that 11 really helps.
I mean, Rio, is it a thing when you're out there as an archer and you're having someone calling those arrows? You know what I mean? Are you listening to it? Can you tune it out ever?
It's hard to tune out. With the arrow calls, it's just so hard. You try to avoid it, but it's so pronounced and it's so in your face. From even like on the scoreboard in front of you to that. I mean, I've had times when I try not to pay attention to the crowd or anything like that. In fact, the first time I won the Open Division at Vegas, I didn't want anybody to realize. In the old dot matrix printer, you used to print O's that look like D's.
Oh, yeah.
And they read it out and said, "It's Red Wild." And the whole crowd goes, "No, it's Rio." And I couldn't help but see the crowd then. And so we do.
Great shot. That's how you wanna win it. No 12 called.
9.
The last arrow's a 9.
Not happy with it.
Yeah. Wow, how do you like the Milkman? Coming in with a bow hunter setup, more or less. And it looks like he's gonna take the victory.
Well, you've been great. Made it really far here. Ray, how about you? How are you feeling up here?
Oh, just like riding bulls.
What doesn't he do? Shoots in his barn, rides bulls, is a milkman. And officially here we have Ray Heisler taking the match, which means that Bryan McNeely will take second, getting $1,500 and another $750 from Motec. Congratulations, Bryan. And our winner, Ray Heisler, will get $3,000 for first place. Congratulations, Ray. Congratulations.
Well, that's it for that category, Masters Open, and what a win for Ray Milkman Heisler, coming in here, having to shoot the open category with a bow hunter setup, and gets it done. Well, the 20th Lancaster Archery Classic from the Spooky Sports Complex here in Manheim, Pennsylvania rolls on as we have more shoot-up matches on the way.